Hey folks, welcome back to another episode of D-Ray's Garage, where today I'm going to feed right into that YouTube algorithm and give you the 5 things that I mildly dislike about a Porsche Spyder that may or may not influence your desire to own one. So it's basically a very, very solid 2-seat roadster car. No shocker to anyone who's clicked on this video already, I am sure. However, like any car, there are no perfect ones. There are really, really excellent ones. If you do know of a perfect one, comment down below. I'm sure we can get the peanut gallery fired up on that one. We're going to start with, probably the most legitimately troubling one for me. Number 1, which is this stupid EBrake electronic brake actuation setup. I just don't get it, right? So I like a firm handbrake. I like a handbrake that is right here, and I understand it. I can tell what status we're in. What I don't like is the one that sits under here, and I'll show you how it's actuated. The first problematic thing for me is it's counterintuitive. Up is down and down is up. Don't get that at all. So one day I'll drum it into my brain that it needs to be opposite of what I'm expecting, but I cannot get it through right now. And I have 2 anecdotes on why handbrakes are a big deal. The first is I owned once upon a time a 2016 GTS Boxster and had the same setup. Parked the car in the driveway at home and came out later on after getting the groceries, and the car was in my neighbor's hedge. It had moved itself 100 feet at least, thank goodness, in a cul-de-sac down my driveway, across the street, nestled nicely up on my neighbor's hedge. Now, that was because I forgot to actuate the stupid thing down here. I don't leave it in gear, so maybe that's your suggestion out there on YouTube Landia. I don't like to do that because when I did that, or someone else did that to me, I lurched my 9872 Spyder into a freezer. Wait a minute, I'm starting to become the common denominator here, aren't I? Anyway, moving on. So when that happened, that was obviously a problem. Additionally, if you're just talking about handbrakes in general, and I know a lot of them are moving to the EBrake style, but many of them are auto actuated, which is way better. This will auto disengage, but won't auto engage. When I had my Aston Martin Vantage, which has the manual lever down here on the driver door side, but it sits down low, it kind of drops out. I forgot to fully activate that one and found it in the middle of a parking lot aisle in a shopping grocery store and got called out over the loudspeaker. I have no idea how that thing didn't hit something else. It just gets ambled back into the middle and started blocking people. So I've had 2 incidents with these handbrakes, one of which was this exact setup, and it just gives me the willies. Thankfully, I think it gives me the willies enough now that I'm on alert, but it's something to think about, Porsche. Number 2, these cup holders. I mean, from a design and engineering perspective, they're phenomenal. But from a function perspective, somebody thought that you just drink out of 4-inch cups. And at least stateside, everybody knows, big gulp, tall cups, venti Starbucks, you're gonna have a hard time here. In the same breath, my 9872 had 0 cup holders, and so in a world of these versus nothing, I take these. So cup holders are number 2 issue with the Porsche Boxster Cayman series. Yes. How is it I made it to number 3 in a Spyder specifically without talking about the roof, the ragtop? Well, yep, it's a problem, people. And it's not a problem for the reason that most people talk about. When you're watching a video from an auto journalist and they're going to tell you how difficult and awkward and stupid it is, and it's really hard. Well, I'm going to put a video up here, show you how long it takes. In this version, it's 30 seconds or less. In my 9872 Spyder, it was a minute or so, minute and a half maybe, because it was slightly different. But moreover, what I don't like about this version is that you cannot open the rear trunk with the roof in place, because the straps that go out to the buttresses and lock in would cause the pulling on this locking mechanism up here. That wasn't the case in my 9872. Additionally, the roof stays with the car in this 981 model, and with a 9872 you could remove it completely. You know, whether you wanted the space, whether you wanted to save the 4 pounds, whatever it is. So I think, and you could open the trunk with a 9872. So for me, the reasons I maybe dislike the roof are different to others. But the argument that you're going to get stuck in a rainstorm is stupid, foolish, and I veto that excuse. Item number 4 of the mildly concerning things to be aware of category of a Porsche Spyder 981. Number 4. And number 4 is it's a low rider. It has a low front end. I think the clearance, I'll put it up here, is somewhere between 4 and 5 inches. And you can see there from the chin spoiler, not from my experience or lifetime of ownership, but from previous owners, it's taken its fair share of knocks, and it's almost unavoidable. I would say, depending where you live, depending how you use it, depending on the frequency of use, that's going to be a greater or lesser concern for you. But a low nose with no ability to adjust, although there are aftermarket options, meaning you can buy these little, I think they're hydraulically actuated pucks that sit on top of your suspension, and then you can activate those, which would be an offset. I don't know I'd ever monkey with a suspension for that particular reason, but you could. So that's the front end of the Spyder. In the same breath, the front end of this car looks phenomenal, much like the 718, really great looking setup. Number 5, the tall gearing of manual Boxsters and Caymans. The struggle is real, ladies and gentlemen. It is a real thing that the gearing is very tall, specifically second gear, getting you wound out to 73 miles an hour. So what's the offset there? What does that really mean in real terms? Well, one, you're driving the power up and you're getting all that fun noise out of your car for longer down low. But you wind up essentially short shifting the box all the time. So you won't very often get out a 3,000 and 4,000 if you're being a good, concerned citizen for your neighbor's ears. Is it a drawback? Yes, maybe. Would I spend any kind of money to fix it? You know, because there are aftermarket kits? No, it just doesn't really come into my mind all that much. And yes, I short shift because I want to play with the stick, because that's the fun of owning a manual and being engaged and driving the car. But, you know, net, is it something that Porsche could do differently? I think it is. Do I think it's a conspiracy to protect the 911? Not if you believe that they put out a GT4 RS and that they put a 911 motor in this sucker. I think that's how they want it to work. So, for better or for worse, it's consideration. So I hope these top 5 mildly disconcerting, mildly difficult things to handle with a Porsche 981 Spyder make it less livable. Not really. It's an excellent car. I love most everything it does. But those are things that will get into your head and you will notice as a driver of one of these cars. So know that they're out there. If you have any other thoughts, if you have any other items that you run into in your experience or you're worried about, put the questions and comments down below, and let's see what everyone else thinks. Be memorable, be well, and I'll see you on another video soon. Hey folks, welcome back to another episode of